can I help?
Right. Let's go, brothers. What am I doing? I think I still have my old juicy area to finish up. Then we gotta find a new one. This one here. And still has some decent maps. Canyon. That. Some 52% maps left on this one, so I guess we gotta play these. Then I'm just gonna play the lower ones with regular maps, because I think it would be a waste to not play them at all. We're just gonna speed through them. Shaft, I don't even know. I think, you know, if you play Abyss map, it should really not matter so much, you know, what the map actually does. Because, you know, you're just gonna get the same amount of pits anyway, no matter how, you know, annoying the map is. So I guess, you know, just gotta get over it. I wanted to see if I changed something in my tree. Okay, I changed it back. I have this jewel now instead of this crit nodes here. And I removed these two value nodes. And we added an ingenuity just for the extra magic find. This costs like a little bit of damage overall, but you know, gives a little bit of cast speed. So I think it's worth it overall. I still have to buy. I removed the bar for like the screenshot. Any light. How's my cast speed so fast? That's just the ingenuity, really. I mean, I changed one rune in the gloves, I think. And ingenuity. Oh, what the hell? So this is so annoying. What? What did even happen? Huh? Like there wasn't even a mob. But this is such an annoying thing if you have like these abysses blocking the ways and you cannot play. But I have no clue what just happened. Did I mess anything up? I don't think I messed anything up. Everything is still good. Still good. So in. Huh. I have no freaking idea what that was. I wasn't even fighting and I just got randomly one-shot by something I didn't even remotely see. So, no clue.
Let's see if there are any takers.
But I guess that's why you don't want to play these ass maps. Don't worry, it was just like 150 exalts worth of a map. Anyway, so we don't have to play the stupid mineshaft again now, so I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, like the maps with like the very small ways where you can, like where the abyss can actually block ways. That's actually a huge problem sometimes. Yeah, this map also has the same problem sometimes. But I have no clue what that was, actually. Didn't even see a projectile or something. I mean, it must have been like a projectile of one of these abyss mobs, but... You know, it was a pretty damn invisible in projectile. And it one-shotted my entire pool, so... Kind of weird. But yeah, that was a good start. Like first map, instant death. I didn't even kill a single mob. Wow. And usually I just never die at all. Really weird. But yeah, by now I also have like 0 chaos res. Maybe that was like a chaos based attack there, but where's the good stuff? I'm broke. I need good stuff and all my money. Ah, look at this. Was just calling it like casually dropping 3 divines. That mob. I guess that's how it goes. Loot a little bit. Good start. I was looking at updates, so I have like basically 2 like useful updates. One would be Kaom's Heart with like a high life roll, which is basically starting at roughly, I would say 40 to 50 divines. And a real good update, more like 80 to 90 divines. And then I have boots, new boots, so I can buy a new boots base for, or I don't know, 20 to 30 divines, and then I have to put the movement speed runes in, which puts me like to 50 divines. So that's kind of my next upgrades. There's not really anything else I can upgrade at this point. Well, maybe the helmet with like a higher life roll, that would also be like a possibility. But I think those are also like crazy expensive. Haven't looked at it though. That might be a decent option. But I guess the chest piece would be the biggest update I can get. Okay, so I should remove artifact. I'm just gonna remove some items from my filter, because there's some stuff which I see which is worth nothing. I'll do this after this map. It's Artificer's Orb. Basically all those currencies for socketing, except for the armorer scraps. They're worthless. Regal Orbs still hold some value, so I guess, you know, it's maybe barely worth picking them up. Yeah, Arcanist Etchers are worth nothing, I guess. Those can go.
No.
Bro. What's going, bro? But I didn't empty my dump taps. I only have 2 left. Which variant are you playing? The hybrid or the full life? Yeah, that's actually a decent. Yes. It's very important. But yeah, that build works just fine. It has some difficulties on very high tier maps. And it can have some difficulty on Simulacrum if you get like very bad mods. But besides that, that's you know, carrying pretty well. And it's like a good way to just work to get the respite focus, because you basically don't have to change the build at all. You can just, you know, swap in the respite and you're just gonna, you know, deal. Probably not. Maybe like 250, 300 maybe. I don't think you will get 500. But swapping away from the hybrid, so you should not be so scared to swap away from the hybrid build, because it's really not as bad as you might think it is. Because so basically while you're playing hybrid, right, you're gonna get the respite while you're playing the hybrid, and then, you know, you only need the Kaoms and the Veil of the Night. That's probably just like roughly like 10 divines, maybe 12, so it's not so far away as soon as you got respite. I would say like respite is like the greatest hurdle there. You have to like take, but these 2 items, you can get them for relatively cheap as well. You don't even have to pay that much. But yeah, I want to just quickly change something in my filter. Why does it always select the wrong filter? So I'm just gonna remove some currencies here. Currency. Where's currency? Alright, so E tier. So what's D tier? So D tier has Arcanist Etcher can go. Glass Bowlers can also go. Wait, so what? Where's the what was I complaining about? Artificers. But that's already gone. Okay, so maybe it was an update on the filter. Fair enough. Shit, I didn't publish it. Ah, no. No, the Widowhail is not really tier 3 bosses capable. I mean, if you wanna, you know, if you wanna fight for those, you know, if you wanna fight like a long time, you know, probably it is. But I would not recommend it. There's also like no real benefit in running those tier 3 bosses if you cannot farm them. I mean, you know, maybe if you're just for the challenge. But I would really not recommend running those with that build. It's not strong enough. God. Right, what do we have? I mean, it's probably capable, but yeah. So capable, but you know, trenches. Not sure what that is. But yeah, I mean, you're probably not gonna have the best time doing that. Ach, oh, that map. Oh dear. Why is the Artificer's Orb still there? God damn it. Why is it still there? I just literally removed it. Okay, let's do it again. Edict starter. Customize. General currency. E tier is checked off and E tier has Artificer's Orb. So why do I see it? Just remove it specifically. Maybe that helps. Reload. Wait, do I have it? Drop it. Aha. Wonderful. There, it's gone. I don't even know if I need this fast of a cast speed. I feel like I'm kind of oversaturated on cast speed. This map is actually relatively okay for breaches. Wait, did they fix Abyss Pits always have reward? No, that's not in this map. Oh, that could be exceptionally worthy. A leather hood with 2 sockets, that could be good, but I think helmets are not that expensive in general. Well, this is like, again, multi-breach. Multi-breach corrupted Abyss overrun. Unfortunately, just tier 14. Wow. I think this is like 5 breaches again. I kind of hate the multi-breach maps, I have to say. I mean, it's cool, but it just takes so long, and I feel like... I mean, I very rarely get good reward of breaches. Not sure what it is, but maybe I'm just unlucky. You get like a lot of like mid-tier currencies, which I'm not really after so much. Oh, this has 10 breaches. Oh god, please not. No, you don't have to completely respec. It's actually just a relatively minimal respec. You basically just remove some crit chance nodes and swap it into some other stuff. But it's not such a big respec, since you are already going into the you know, lower stuff. You're basically just gonna add some life, some regeneration, some value nodes. But this respec is actually not that big. You just spec out of some energy shield nodes, basically. So, if you compare the two builds, like if you look at my build guide and you compare the two, they basically have the same route. The only difference is the passing towards the bottom part of the tree, where the one goes through like the energy shield nodes, and the other one goes through the basically the side nodes, where it's just like blood magic. I really don't want to play this. I'm just gonna fast forward through these. It's gonna take too long. Even though I know you should be happy if you hit like a 10 breach map, but I don't know, I feel like it's not even worth the time farming them. You don't have like the map very juiced. I mainly go for like abyss maps. So I guess if I would be playing like heavily juiced maps, I would be more happy about these. Also not the best map obviously for this, but... But yeah, you basically just keep, you know, circling the same area over and over again. No, it's not glass cannon. What? But there's like situations where it gets dicey because you have no resistances, and some mobs just do like crazy burst damage on elemental or chaos. But it's not glass cannon. It's very survivable. I mean, I'm playing the build, and you usually don't die. But sometimes, for example, if you have breach and you like, you know, you're charging into like a narrow spot where there's like 4 of these elemental, you know, breach ranged mobs, for example, you have to be a little bit careful with these things. So in general, as long as you don't get like one shot by like an insane amount of damage within like a very short time, it's not going to be an issue. But you gotta get used to it a little bit. You want to be like kind of, you know, strafing towards like the mobs. You don't really want to engage them face to face if you kind of know that the mobs are difficult, right? If it's just regular random mobs, it's not an issue. But especially in breach, if you see it, or in abyss, if you see like, you know, 4 mobs spawning and you see that they are going to attack, you want to kind of, you know, strafe a little bit. Because if you take like too much stuff in the face within like 1 second, you can certainly die. But, you know, that's kind of with almost every build. Very little builds have so much damage mitigation. And if they have, you need to, like, kind of invest into, like, you know, a lot of damage conversion and stuff like that. But yeah, these narrow points are, like, a little bit of a problem. Because, you know, if you just go in there, you know, all the fire will just concentrate on you. And that can be dangerous sometimes. It's always, like, a little bit situational. Depends on what mobs are coming there. For example, if you also meet, like, you know, one of the Simulacrum bosses, and the Simulacrum boss, you know, you have, like, bad map mobs, whereas you have, like, you know, whatever, like, extra elemental damage, like, 3 times or stuff like that. And you take, like, 3 projectiles from one of those bosses in the face, you know, that shit can kill you. But, like, just regularly running, you will not really die. In the higher Abyss maps, it's, you know, it's a little bit more dicey because, you know, you play 6 mod maps with, like, a lot of negatives. But I guess, you know, that's just standard RNG in, like, PoE 2. I think that's almost every class will have these situations where you just, you know, get randomly one-shot by whatever. You don't even know what it was. I guess that's just nature of the, like, the, you know, randomization of the rare mods. That can always happen with any build. Unless you are, like, really having, like, a warrior build, which is, you know, which is basically meant to be tanky, right? Because this build is not meant to be tanky. This build is, like, meant to do a lot of DPS while being, you know, while not dying. But certainly there is the possibility of dying. For example, like these mines, right? If I run in there and I eat, like, 6 of these to the face, I'm dead. Because I have 0 elemental resistance. So I just know that I have to, you know, if I see, like, mines, I have to be, like, a little bit careful. It's just, you know, you just gotta get used to that you're not just gonna charge in those mines. And, you know, if you have elemental res, you would obviously not care about that, right? But you know, if you kind of, you know, played the build for a little bit, you kind of know what you want to get into and what you don't want to get into. But really, the most important is, like, be careful of narrow points where there's, like, strong ranged mobs. Strong ranged mobs in narrow points, they will always hit you with all the projectiles. And since you cannot really, you know, attack them in the narrow points because the sparks will just not travel to them, you cannot, it's like sometimes you just cannot out-regenerate that. Yeah, like, Pinnacles die in, like, 1 second. I mean, I didn't even, like, optimize my support gems on Pinnacles. Because I think you need, like, Gears or something like that. I'm not even sure what the best setup for Pinnacles is in this build. But basically I kill all of them, like, tier 3 within, like, 1 second. Maybe 2 seconds. So that's the least of the problems. But, you know, there's other builds which are just much... So if you really, like, only care about Pinnacles, like, there's so many builds which can K Pinnacles and they don't even, like, cost a Divine. Like, there's so many one-shot Pinnacle builds, so this is definitely... I mean, this needs, like, 2 or 3 shots for the Pinnacle bosses. But, you know, I guess in comparison, this build is extremely expensive. If you want to make this as, like, a just boss farmer. I don't think Grand Spectrum is worth the chase. So I have 90 divines worth of Grand Spectrums in my build, and it's giving me like 700 hit points for the cost of 3 jewels. So I'm actually thinking of just selling those off and changing them to a better chest piece, because, you know, like, those 90 divines, it's definitely not the most efficient. I would say it's like the very, very last thing you should go for. And I went for them way too early. I don't even have, like, a good wand at this point. And if you get, like, a, you know, 1750 HP chest piece, which is, like, you know, 30 to 40 divines or something like that, that's gonna do more than the Grand Spectrums, actually. Combined with the Grand Spectrums is obviously much better. But yeah, so I'm thinking about selling my Grand Spectrums again to, you know, go for other stuff. Because the problem with the Grand Spectrum is you basically gonna lose 3 of the jewel slots, which give you crit damage bonus. So you don't really get more damage of the Grand Spectrums. You can spec away of some critical strike chance in your tree. But I feel like you get, obviously, you get a little bit of extra survivability. But it's nowhere near being worse, like 90 divines. Like, it's way too expensive. God. These 10 breach maps are killing me. They just never end. Oh, whoa. So that's like one of the disadvantages. Like, randomly, there's just a mob. Or 3 mobs. I don't know where they came from, but they are not attackable. And then, you know, if you just randomly run into these... Okay, they are very difficult to attack. Because when you're, like, ramping up your damage, you will go down to, like, you know, 1,000 hit points or something like that. And if you just randomly run into, like, a mob which shouldn't be there, that can also kill you. So there is definitely some disadvantages of having a pure life pool, which is also your primary resource. So definitely, it's not the most comfortable build. Yeah, you would never want to sprint, actually. Like, if you sprint, you're already doomed. That's really... I mean, like, ideally, that's the problem I have with, like, this multi-breach maps, right? If I want to do a map, I just basically want to, you know, go from the start to the finish and then be done. But with these multi-breach maps, I just, you know, I have to, like, you know, go in circles and go in circles and go in circles. And I personally don't really like that style at all. And then, yeah, stuff like that happens because you have to, you know, now I have to go loot. Now I have to go back to, like, you know, the next breach. Then I have to go loot. And you have, like, always these, you know, phases in between. Oh, thanks for nothing. I mean, I think it's a good build, though. Yeah, so you can, but I still don't run the less recovery maps. It's just stressful, and you kind of have to... I mean, you can get enough... It depends on, you know, if you hit the prefix or suffixes with your, like, Atlas passives. If you don't hit them, it's relatively easy, because you're just gonna have, like, something like 50% or something like that. But if you hit, like, 70% plus... then it's actually rough. Then you kind of have to spec into Life Leech. Because I don't spec Life Leech. And if you spec Life Leech, that's gonna make it work. But I basically I don't run these maps. It's just, you know, it's just an extra source of danger, which I don't need. So I just avoid them in general. But it's possible to run them. I don't know, I just buy all my maps off the market, so... most of the maps I run have like more rare monsters in general. Kind of the ones I prefer there. But yeah, I buy most maps. I mean, I haven't really started crafting the maps myself. I have like, you know, 500 or 600 maps in my stash, so maybe I should do it at some point. But for me, it's like much more convenient. I just buy them. It's faster for me. Again, and you have to get used to this build a little bit. It's really... It depends a little bit on your playstyle. But if you know what you're doing, you will very, very rarely die. You will die to, like, mistakes, basically. I don't think it requires a lot of attention, actually. Like, 90% of the time, I just stupidly run forward. It's really just, if you have maps like this, you gotta have to, like, you gotta look at the choke points a little bit. And you just don't rush into the choke points like an idiot. But usually, like, with regular mobs, I just run forward and, you know, just spam. And that usually works just fine. But there's, like, some situations which you want to avoid, yes. Yeah, you have to spam always. You are not allowed to stop spamming. That's the build. That's why I don't like Breach on this build, because, you know, I always have to, like, you know, stop spamming, and, you know, I know this map is empty now, so right, nothing can happen to me anymore. But it's kind of, you know, that's why I prefer even not to run like maps like this, because, you know, you always have to, like, repeat like your same stuff. I mean, this was like 10 Breach maps, so in general I hate the 10 Breach maps. I think it's not even worth the time running them. I still run them, but I think, you know, you should basically just ignore these maps. I think if you don't completely choose, like, Breach, I think it's not worth it. I think Breach is fine, like, as a, you know, secondary thing on the map. But just going for Breach, I feel like it's not really... It's just not as good as Abyss. I think it's still great, but it highly depends on the map, on the how juiced the map is, what modifiers you have on the map. And basically you need, like, a lot of rare monsters. A Breach boss. I mean, I could run that guy all day, but I find it boring. I don't know, then, I mean, you know, if you spend, like, a lot of this build and it's not working for you, then you're either doing something wrong or, you know, it's just not for you. What are you gonna do? Yeah, no, but it's boring. Like, the Breach boss, I feel like for me it's, like, boring. There's, like, no challenge. I do the same stuff, like, every 3 minutes. That's just not really, like, I don't see, like, the excitement. And, you know, with these maps, I, like, especially, like, these Abyssal maps, I get, like, so many of these, like, random Divine drops, you know, random Omen drops, random whatever drops. And that's kind of what I enjoy. And in Breach, it's not really so surprising. Like, you always, like, pick up the same amount of catalysts. You always pick up, like, the same amount of Breach rings. But, you know, it's... I guess, you know, everybody, you know, plays the way he likes. I don't like the 3-tower juicing thing either. I would much more like if it would be just a single tower. But, you know, that's just the current state of the game. And that's kind of, you know, still the content I enjoy most, so... But, you know, again, everybody, you know, has to play the stuff, you know, obviously he enjoys most. I mean, I sometimes drop, like, you know, I have, like, maps where I get, like, 3 to 4 divines a map. I mean, raw divines, really. It happens actually quite often to me. And then I'm always like, you know, that's kind of what I like. It's just, you know, if I have a map and oh, nice, divine. Oh, nice, next divine. Oh, there's the perfect exalt, stuff like that. Obviously, it doesn't happen on every map, but that's kind of, you know, for me, like, the more, you know, dopamine with the loot. Not so much if it's, like, stable, like in Breach. Pretty much always the same loot. But yeah, I mean, we will get the endgame. The endgame is just not done yet, right? So we will get the endgame patch. It's the next, you know, that's gonna be the next league patch major update. It's gonna be the endgame. So, you know, we all know endgame is not perfect right now, but, you know, I'm playing basically right now what I just like most. Do I think it's absolutely perfect? No, absolutely not. Like, there's like so many things I would complain about. But it is what it is. It's just the thing I like most. And I don't really like the pinnacle bosses. I don't really like Simulacrum. And I'm not so much about, you know, efficiency. Like, I don't really care so much about, you know, this many divines per hour. Like, you know, usually when I farm, like, maps without selling the rares, I make, like, 5 to 10 divines per hour. And I think that's actually pretty good. Like, I have multiple streams where I made, like, in a 5-hour session, like, 20 to 40 divines easy. So I don't think I'm, like, on the low end. But I also invest, obviously, in, like, strong maps and strong tower juice setups. And obviously, while I'm, you know, finding and preparing the setups, I'm not finding that much. But I think if I, you know, if you want to go for pure profit, you will just always do, like, profit crafting anyway. Like, if I really want to just make divines per hour, you know, the best thing will always be just crafting. Like, as soon as you play, like, for a single minute, you're, like, not even, like, 1/10 as efficient if you just craft and play the market. But, you know, that's also something I don't really do. Well, so HP is really just... I mean, I have the Grand Spectrums. Without the Grand Spectrums, I have, like, 8k. And with, like, 7, you're not so far away, actually. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, personal preference for every player, right? So that's why I'm saying I'm not really caring so much about the, you know, the efficiency. This map, for example, didn't drop a single divine yet. And, like, each of these maps cost, like, 150 exalt to run, right? So we also have to take this into account. Because this is, like, all Abyss maps. So I kind of expect to get, like, you know, some payout. I mean, I found in this one, I think, you know, I don't even know what it was. Greater Jewelers and something else. So probably, like, 100 exalts. Yeah, so why you're playing tier 16 on 80% Delirious? Just play good stuff. It's just stupid to run that because that's not gonna give you any benefit. And yes, obviously, that's what I say. Like, the only thing which can kill you in this is one shot. So if you juice your maps to like the absolute extreme, and then you get hit by the hardest boss existing, yeah, obviously you're dead. You will be one shot with 15k XP. That's HP. That's actually by design, right? So if you juice your map with like 80% Delirious, tier 16, probably even irradiated, and then you meet the hardest boss, you cannot expect to not get one shot. So that's really just, you know, pretty expected actually. I mean, it's not a random map. You play a 80% Delirious map. You have to know what that means, right? So 80% Delirious, I think, you know, it kind of triples the difficulty of the map. Then you also have like the random map modifiers, like the extra damage. It all multiplies. And then you get the hardest boss, which shoots a triple projectile, which can shotgun. Sure, you can die, or you can just slam dunk you and kill you. And that's why you kind of have to do the right playstyle. That's why I always, you know, that's why I'm saying if you move straight into a pack of mobs, that's not what you want to do. You kind of want to strafe, you know, against the pack of mobs. And, I mean, you're gonna know that the boss is there, right? If you look at the top of your screen, you will see the health bar of the Delirium boss appearing. And as soon as you see that, you will basically just say, oh, that's a boss. Let me be a little bit careful here. Let me, you know, strafe a little bit. And, you know, not just run blindly into a boss, which, you know, can one-shot you. So it's like it's basically, you know, you're playing the most difficult content, so you have to pay a little bit of attention. It's just, you know, what it is. I mean, there's builds which are so survivable that they don't care about anything, but they usually don't have high DPS output. Like all the warrior builds and stuff like that, they have decent DPS and they can tank away stuff like that. But they will not even have like 1/10 of the DPS like a build like this. So you have to kind of, you know, obviously do some drawbacks here and there. For this, you need like 50 to 100, depending on how high you want to roll. But I think that's kind of the minimum. How do I open? Yeah, you can start if you have Respite, but you cannot play full life yet. So if you really want to get like this full life build, you have to have like a base hit pool. Yeah, there's always stuff to improve. Oh god, let's do like the random one. Oh my god. This is gonna be interesting. This is like a lot of big flags here, so we're just gonna do like do this boom here. That looks like fun. Okay. I expected more. You got 60% movement speed boost? That's actually crazy. I bought mine with 1 socket and corrupted them for 2, and mine have 35, so I mean I'm 5% below the maximum, but I only had to spend 2 runes. Yeah, I think they're still like around that price. So I was really happy. I was buying these like basically with one socket. They're not optimal for the build because they don't have any life, right? But yeah, I don't think I will replace them. It's like too much of investment. I mean, maybe at some point, but right now I don't really see a reason to do that. It's just like just 5% below the 60% maximum, right? Because I have one with 35 increased movement speed, and I have plus 20. So you could get the 3 sockets are all crafted, right? So they are all 30 plus 30, so 60, and I have 55. So yeah, obviously it would be nice to have like, you know, the 5% more. But you know, I'm happy with those. I got like a very good deal on them. God, mineshaft, get away. There any other good ones here? Still. Okay, so there's just this channel left. I guess I can play this. This is annoying, but I can play it. No, it's not worth it. God, I hate this map so much. I have to run it. Oh, this is the funky room. With the statues. Hello. Can I get in there? Ah, no. I mean, you know, at the very high end, updates just get crazy expensive. But, you know, you don't have to be forced to do that. Like, you can do other stuff with your currency, right? I mean, you can start running expensive maps, for example. So when I started running expensive maps, my like income like got so much higher. Like since I'm running I basically run only Abyss maps in juiced maps, and these give like so much more income, even though it's a little bit RNG. And you know, I mean, since I started, like what was it, like half an hour ago, I dropped Omen of Light, 2 diffs, and a couple of, you know, mid-tier currencies. And, you know, yeah, I spent like, you know, one and a half diff on the maps already. But it really pays off, and I feel like it's a lot of fun. I really just like these abyssal mobs in general. Well, basically, so I juice an area, right, up to like with this like 3-tower setup, with like up to like 50% quant, or up to like 60% quant. And then I buy maps which are overrun by the Abyssal. So I run this, like, as you can see, this map is overrun by the Abyssal. I run this on every map. Right, and these, it depends on which ones you buy, but these cost between like 150 exalts and like a divine. But I usually try to buy these for like 150 exalts max. And, I mean, on this one, again, I didn't drop any high currency yet. But these Abyss mobs basically have like higher chances of dropping expensive currencies. And also the Abyss chests have a chance of dropping the ancient items. So they can drop like ancient ribs or whatever. And if you drop one of these, it's also like instantly like 2 divines. So yeah, that's why I don't run random maps anymore. I basically just, you know, purchase all my maps on the market. And that really significantly increases your income there. And also on this high-profile maps, right, you only like pick up tier 4 and tier 5 uniques, tier 4 and tier 5 rares. This map is pretty bad because I'm just, you know, running, you know, the last maps I have, which are really not very good. These only have like 50% rare monsters. But if you get these maps like with, you know, 100% rare monsters, they are really, really juicy. And, you know, if you have rarity on top, it gets really, really crazy. But, you know, these, like, the very good maps cost, like, 2 divines, and I don't buy those. I think they're not worth it. It's more for, like, group playing, right? If you, like, the very expensive maps I would just run if you would do group playing, because then, obviously, you know, you share the map price between, like, a bunch of people. But for soloing, I would not recommend to run, like, these crazy rare maps. But these regular ones, which just overrun by the Abyss and, you know, have, like, 50 to 70% rare monsters and maybe some rarity, they usually, like, feel very good. But I didn't find so many good ones today. So it's kind of, you know, there's not so many of these maps on the market, right? So if you buy them, you maybe find, like, 4 or 5 maps and then you buy them out. And, you know, then you have to wait a couple of hours until you can buy new ones. So that's why I wanna basically craft them myself, but I didn't really get into it yet. It's like one thing I will do at some point, because I have like 500 maps in my stash. And I'm kind of wanna craft them. Oh god. So this is like, we have like the stupid Delirium boss with like the, you know, ghost in it. So this is maybe something I don't wanna run into. But yeah, whatever. But that's where you can see, like, I'm kind of strafing, right? So I'm always, like, running parallel to these pits. I'm not running frontal to them. And, you know, that is basically, like, the strategy I do, where I don't really die to these things. And that's overall what I always do. Because there is just random stuff in these highly juiced maps which can absolutely one-shot you. And that's why I highly recommend, like, strafing parallel to, like, these mobs in Breach and stuff like that. It doesn't matter at all, but, you know. Yeah, I mean, you can, exactly, if you get, like, a 2 or 3 tower setup and you just put, like, you know, I usually use 5 to 6% quantity tablets. I don't buy 7% tablets, they're way too expensive. I usually use 5 to 6 quantity ones. Fresh is not good in this situation. Let's instantly tap out. Alright, let's go in. Yeah, you can craft these maps, but the modifier is very rare. It's like a 1 in, I don't even know, 1 in 30, 1 in 40 maybe. So you would basically have to, you know, craft up all your maps with prefix Omen or with prefix Abyssal crafts. And then I don't know how high the chances are, right? That's why I'm still want to get into crafting. I have to check, like, the chaotic. I basically want to calculate how expensive one map is in general. I have to be super careful now, because I have no freaking clue where the mobs are, because the map has been deleted. Okay, here probably not. But yeah, you can definitely craft these maps yourself. I think I have been here before. I hate it when it crashes and you lose the map. That's so annoying. Like, I wouldn't even mind the crashes if the map would be still there. But losing the map, that's just so annoying. See, like these, so that's a good example, right? So that point you cannot run into, because there's one of the Abyss blocking the pathway, and there's ranged Abyss mobs shooting over that thing. So you literally cannot go there. If I go there, I will die. It's not possible for me to go there. And if there's no way around, I basically cannot really reach that without dying. Because there's no way I'm going... The problem is the sparks will not travel over that blockade. And that's like one extreme weakness of Spark. Just these Abyss pits can block the pathway for the Spark. And yeah, but you have to get close to it. And then you have to, you know, kind of move in there. So And while you do that, you are like basically subjected to die. But yeah, so maybe I can get there from another way. If I would still have the map, I would know. But since I don't have the map anymore because of this stupid crash, I don't know how the hell I can get there. But yeah, that's something very annoying with like the blocks. And yeah, I don't even cast Orb of Storm, so maybe it would be possible. But usually, that's why I usually also avoid these maps. But yeah, I can go in from the other side, luckily. And then it's not an issue. But yeah, as you can see, it's like also blocked from this side, right? So I would just not go in there, basically. I'm just gonna leave that pit there. Because, you know, like these guys, cannot reach them. It's stupid, but, you know. I mean, I can actually try. You know, I'm not gonna lose like a substantial amount of XP. So let's just see what happens if I just charge in there. I mean, you can do it, obviously. Sometimes it works. Like, I was lucky this time. But this can also go wrong, like, big time. Elemental Weakness does nothing in this build, so you can use Temporal Chains or Enfeeble. We don't do any elemental damage at all in this build, so this build is 100% physical. So if you look at the tooltip of... I always recommend look at the tooltip of your spells and look what damage they do. So you can see it does 70k physical damage and 9k lightning damage. Right, so basically it's barely enough to just shock. But it's literally just doing physical damage, basically. So that's why Elemental Weakness does nothing. That's why I don't have Frostbomb for exposure, like all that stuff. It basically just does nothing in this build. And I have mapping set up, right? So I have 3 support gems which give no damage in. So if I do bosses, I have like 3 times as much. But yeah, DPS comes with, you know, gear. That's just what it is. Okay, so I only have... Yeah, I'm not gonna run this mine shaft though. And these are too low for good maps. So I'm just gonna run these with regular maps. But I'm I'm not gonna waste the expensive maps on these. And then I can see if I have like another area coming up. This one, nope. I mean, he has like a 2-tower setup. But it's not enough for me. Where's my next setup? There's a 1... This is like a little bit of a 3-tower overlap. But just in the middle. Here's 2 towers. A little bit overlap here, but it's also not good. But, you know, there might be a tower behind here somewhere. Here we have a double tower, but not seeing any more. So I don't really have any good setups right now going on. I think there's 1, 2. This was actually a 3-tower. I mean, this I could do, but the towers are freaking far away. How about the left side here? Here's 2 towers. Nothing. So this is what I hate about this stupid tower shit. There should just be 1 tower and done deal. That would be so much better. Because, you know, I know it's like efficient to just go to like a 2-tower setup like this because you're probably going to find one in the back. But also then going all the way to the one in the back, you either have to use like the, you know, Grand Projects tablets to just, you know, warp there. But that's going to lose out like on the quantity per tablet. Or you kind of have to go chances, right? So I can travel here and hope I will find another one. Same here. I can travel here, and I hope I find another one. I mean, there's a Citadel. I mean, I have a lot of Citadels here, which I can just run. But yeah, so I'm probably gonna No, you can use any wand, like it totally doesn't matter. You have to read the guide or use the PoB, so the from nothing are bugged, but in the written guide I specifically write which nodes to socket there. I think I'm still gonna do this because I'm gonna have decent maps on the travel here. Or I'm gonna do this. No. Can't decide. I think I'm gonna do this. This is actually the closest. But yeah, let's finish up the maps here. So I can still, I mean, I think gonna run this. I know the map is shit, but it's still like a 52% map. So you shouldn't really waste it. No, like Spellcaster doesn't do anything in this build, so it's irrelevant. You can use any wand base. By getting a dueling wand, you're just gonna make it like 3 times as expensive. And you basically get... Do you see like the straving there, right? So, but yeah, you're basically just gonna make the wand like so much more expensive, and you're not gonna have any benefit in this build from it anyway. Because we're not gonna cast anything with it. Yeah, you don't want to run in these mines. You will die. Do not recommend eating those with 0 elemental res. I don't know if Mineshaft is actually that bad of a map. At least it's not so narrow. For bossing, I think I use Unleash and... I mean, you can kind of use different ones. You can use Considered Casting. You can use Deliberation. You can use Heft if you don't want to use the Shock. But, you know, I usually... I mean, actually, I mean, I don't play bosses, but if I would, basically you can just play Unleash. It's going to be enough for every boss, and you can just leave the rest in. You can also add, like, Considered Casting, or any, like, kind of damage-giving gem. But usually you want to get gems which have damage and a cost multiplier for bosses. So Unleash is, like, the absolute strongest one you can get, because it's just, like, a 150% cost multiplier. Yeah, I did actually level with Spark. You can absolutely level with this. But it always depends if you already have access to trade. Because I have like a Widowhail version of this and it requires trading. So you have to buy like, you know, a couple of cheap items to make it work. So if you're like re-rolling from another class and you have access to trade, like Spark's like super relaxed for leveling actually. But if you don't have access to trade... Oh shit, there's a boss, I didn't even notice. If you don't have access to trade... I would probably use Arc for leveling. It's much stronger. I mean, it's not the best. Let's be honest. The Arc worked fine in the leveling phase, but it was definitely not like the cream of the crop. It's just the way that, you know, the attack-based skills can use the runes in their weapons, and the runes are just so crazy strong. It just makes it very, very, very overpowered, while your, you know, your spellcaster build really don't scale that good in the campaign. Unless you're, like, lucky and you find, like, you know, a big item. Okay, this is really strange. There shouldn't be rituals in here. Because usually, so the Abyss overrides the ritual. But for some strange reason on this map, it didn't do it. That's really strange, though. But, I mean, Arc Lightning Infusions is a very solid spell-based leveling build. will actually get you like to your goal like without major problems. But it's not the fastest. Like, you know, the bow builds are just faster because of, you know, movement speed nodes in the tree and stuff like that. Yeah, it depends. You know, if you find like a, you know, a +2 weapon or +3 weapon, you know, spell leveling is like piece of cake, right? But if you don't find like a plus skills level, because you know, you're not gonna find like a, you know, 200% spell damage weapon, right? But if you play like, for example, a bow build and you just throw 2 stupid like lightning runes in your bow, you all of a sudden like triple your damage or stuff like that. And that's just, you know, there's like kind of an imbalance there in the flat damage runes and the percentage spell damage based runes which caster use. Because there's no flat spell damage runes. Oh god, I'm frozen? Oh, the shrine frees me. I haven't been like frozen like forever. This map is like really, really bad. And I'm temporal chained. I don't know, I cannot give you any recommendations on hardcore.
No.
But this map is just huge. Really annoying. But something is buggy with the Abyss here. And the ritual. Like, I feel like there's no Abyss pits. Maybe the mod of the map didn't work. Because I threw like an Abyss mod in here, but it doesn't seem like it worked. Because that's why I also have the ritual. Maybe it just, you know, ate the mod. Or maybe I just didn't look properly and the map didn't have it. Which is probably the more possible scenario here. I want all this bullshit. But yeah, if you like want to like level like a spellcaster class, you know, Essence Drain is just the strongest leveling build. I mean, Arc, like Lightning Infusion Arc, like Snap Arc and Lightning Infusion is pretty solid. Like just, you know, casting Snap on the dead bodies and then clearing everything with Arc. That's pretty solid. Oh yeah, now we have this one Abyssal map. Wait, do we have this, what was this, increase or something like that? Rewards. There was like this mod where the mobs get stronger or something like that. What was it called? Ah, this one, yeah. Increase difficulty and reward. I wanted to try this again. I think it doesn't work, but you know. Yeah, Essence Drain is really strong for leveling, so nothing really bad about that. Um, What is this map? Spring. Spring is a good map, actually. Look at the fat guy following me. Waiting for me to turn around and slap him. See, that's why I like playing maps. If I get like omens or divs, I just like the sound and everything. But yeah, these maps are not very good anymore. I have to get to a better area. And yeah, I think this increased difficulty and increased reward shit for the pits, I think it does nothing. I tested it before, I'm testing it again. And I don't really see any special drops on these maps. I would expect this to be like, you know, much more potent. Like I would expect to see like way more of the lower currencies and stuff like that dropping. But it just doesn't happen. You feel that the mobs get more difficult though. You have HP everywhere and you still have 3k. Well, you need certain uniques to reach that. You're not gonna reach it with like regular gear. But I can show you after this map. Why am I frozen? Okay. But yeah, these maps are not really juicy. Pretty boring actually. That's why I think this mod doesn't work, because, you know, I almost cleared, like, the entire map. And it says, you know, there's increasing reward progress per Abyss Pit closed. And, you know, it's just not... I'm just not feeling any of those. And this is, like, the second or third time I run this, and it's just... I think it just doesn't work. I think it's just, you know, some random streamer saying that it's good for no reason, without testing it. Oh, wow. And then, but that can always happen. So that's these, you know, whatever it's called, like fracture something. So these mobs, so this is basically the increased difficulty bullshit. So these mobs really get a lot of extra damage with these mods. And, you know, sometimes they have this, you know, if you don't pay close attention, the mobs will just not die because you have to go into melee range. And, you know, that's just the random stuff which happens. And that's why I don't really play this maps, because I think this mod doesn't work. And you're just gonna add, like, so much more difficulty onto these Abyss Pits for, like, absolutely no, you know, benefit. And then, you know, all of a sudden you get, like, killed by, you know, these crazy beams, which do, like, 10 times the damage they're supposed to do. Because you have, like, this stupid juicing mod on the map. So, yeah. I have to go into, like, stupid melee range of these. Oh, God! And I'm... See, that's why I don't play these maps. I don't even know, like, I got frozen by, like, a white mob. And then, like, from the right, like, the other mob is, like charging me. And, like, he one-shots me with the same stupid beam. Come on. But yeah, it was the last experience I do with these maps, because they just don't do anything. They just make like the mobs incredibly dangerous. And you're not gonna get any reward for it whatsoever. So much about that. Not gonna do it again. Just stupid. So you get 9k HP basically by, you know, you run like this chest piece, which gives 100, like 1500 maximum life. Then you run this helmet, which gives 50% increased maximum life and removes your resistances. Then you play, you know, Amulet with 9% increased maximum life, and basically you have absolute, like, maximum life and attributes on all of your items, on all of your rings and everything. And then you play, like, kind of, you know, the skill tree, like, all strengths, right? Just into, you know, use the spells, but everything strengths. You use, like, these 3% extra life nodes from the tree, 25 strengths here. And yeah, the last bit is like these 3 grand spectrums, basically. They are like extremely extremely expensive. But they give you like 18% life, but I don't think in the end they are worth it. Like, what's bad about Ingenuity? Basically, if you play a regular belt, I get like 300 more life or something like that. And with this one, I get like 50% magic find and, you know, good amount of cast speed.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah, so much about that. I don't even know if I want to run this map, so I'm going to run this Corrupted Nexus here for whatever reason.
You have been judged and found one.
I mean, you have to think what, like, if you play this build with full life scaling, what does the belt slot give you? It gives you exactly 170 max life and 38 strength. That's all you get from your belt, right? And by switching to Ingenuity, you basically get, like, you know, like 70 life and, you know, like 20 attributes. And you get all the magic find and all the cast speed from the rings. So you just get so much more for like just a little cost of, you know, some life. So I think it's worth it. I don't have money for a headhunter, but I would probably use it. I mean, it's probably the best to use. But, you know, I have so many legs already, and I feel like, you know, headhunter will probably not make that any better. But I guess technically it's the best belt for this build. But I don't have one. But I could actually try one. I never played a headhunter. Might be cool actually to use one. Yeah, I mean, it's like, is it like still 50 divines or something like that? Yeah, I mean, it's probably something I could get. But, you know, right now I only have like 8 divines or something like that. I spent like all my money on useless shit. I have to wait for some sales, have to like make some... I mean, I have a lot of expensive items in the shop. What do we have here? Okay, cannot run the physical one. Probably just gonna run this side here. I don't know what, there was something flying at me. Oh, I think that was just this corrupted thing here. It's laggy right now. Have to wait for GGG servers to fix their lag. I don't even know what that is. Why am I getting frozen all the time? I never get frozen, and all of a sudden it happens to me all the time. I don't know what changed. God, this lag. Okay. Well, I cannot do anything with rage, though. It's actually not cold outside. I mean, if you want to play like crossbow or whatever, right? I'm getting frozen again. I don't understand. Like, is this like some crazy tech? I don't understand. I was never getting frozen before. Is there maps with like less charm charges gained? Probably not, right? Yeah, I know that's like surrounded for everyone. But you know, in this build you cannot do that because you the helmet just basically blocks your spot there. I mean, there's some, you know, decent surrounded nodes, I guess. But, you know, most of the stuff is obviously for, like, you know, attack builds. I guess in general, you know, attack builds are just, you know, they have so much more interesting stuff than spell builds right now in the current state of the game. Again? What is going on? Did they like ninja patch something today? Was there a patch? How was a greater Jula's orb? What? Did these get more expensive? Why is it like in this loot tier? I have to check if these like gained value. Because I never picked them up. Okay. So never think fucked it up. That ring is pretty sweet. But, you know, pretty good. What 2.8x is not worth less. They used to be worth nothing. Wait. Okay, they're worthless. So it's like never sync. Never sync. Screwed up the loot filter. Another thing I have to change later.
The past still knows how to put up a fight.
You want to sell it? I mean, to be honest, it's just expensive because of the 3 to 66 lightning damage. For me, it would not be... I mean, it would be good for me, but, you know, I could get a better one on a live, like on a other base. I mean, it's good. It has, like, you know, it has 30 attributes, 144 life. It's a little bit low on the cast speed, though. Like, if I compare to mine, right? I mean, this is my bad ring, actually. Wait, I should have, like, another ring which is better, actually. I'm confused. I felt like I had a second 40%. But if I compare it to this one, for example, right? Mine is a little bit better on the cast speed end. And, you know, it just has 10% less rarity and some, you know, a little bit less life. So it's not much, it's not much worse. Like, stats for this build are basically life, right? So, I mean, stats are great for this build. But, I mean, I guess for me it would not be much better than my current ring. So it would not be such a good update. But I can see that, you know, ring, you know, being quite expensive. Oh. Ah, I forgot there was the corrupted Nexus thing. I was waiting for drops. None. Dude, I still have to do like Delirium. Which one did I forget? Forgot the one at the very beginning? What? No, it's not gonna be that good. So percent life is basically it's much worse than flat life. So that belt is just gonna cost you a fortune, but it's gonna be less less life than actually just get like a belt with, you know, 170 life and 30 strength for like one diff. So the 12% max life, I mean, if you had like a perfect roll even, it's just gonna be much worse, unfortunately. Percent life doesn't scale so high because, you know, it's kind of a balance between, you know, flat life and percent life. And in this build, you basically have the, you know, you have the percent life basically already too high. That's why also like this chess piece, if you have it with like, you know, 1700 life, for example, so the 200 life will be worth much more than, you know, the 3% increased max life. That's why these corrupted chests are like so expensive. But yeah, so I'm kind of like done with these maps. There's still like a savanna and like a ravine. These I should run these go fast. Let's find some decent maps here. But yeah, I need a new juiced area. Oh, chill ground. Nice. Speed shrine. I don't, so it's not gonna copy the copy, right? So it's not gonna copy copies. It's basically so all copies happen at the same time. So it's basically not gonna work like that. Yeah, it gives you like, yeah, for me it's like I'm going from like 130 to 160 or something like that. So it's basically just rarity for the cost of a little bit of life. I think it's worth it in the end. And ingenuity is not so expensive. Yeah, it gives car speed as well, so I mean I think it's a good ring. I mean you will lose like a little bit of, you know, damage, gain DPS. Oh. I think it's a good upgrade, especially, you know, item rarity is just very important. So I feel like picking up, the problem is if you don't play like a helm, right, if you play unique helm, you don't have access to, you know, free 45% item rarity on your helmet. So that's kind of why I like the ingenuity. There's like weird mobs in here which just don't die. Yeah, I don't have enough rarity. I just have like a gold amulet with implicit, so that's why I'm missing basically all my rarity from the amulet. So I could get more, but I have it on boots and gloves. And I need like 20 more on a ring. So I have 159 basically. And without ingenuity I go to 135, so it gives me 24%, so it's pretty solid actually. But unjuiced maps are so boring.
Another corpse to stand. I need more time.
What is this Calandros, what you're talking about? It's like the, is that like the ring which mirrors the other ring? Why don't you just get the ring twice? Isn't it like way cheaper? This has a lot of tier 1s. How much is this thing? $38 annuls? I hate this annulment trade. It's like one of the most annoying things this league. I don't know which stupid ass started this bullshit. I mean, certain diffs. I mean, I guess, you know, I guess it's fine. Like, if I would get it, I could mirror my 41 rarity attack speed ring. Because this one is pretty good, but it was also just 15 diffs. Because this one is just not that good. I'm also confused because I thought I had like another 40% ring, but maybe I'm just confused. Okay, after this, we're gonna venture for new areas. Heavy belts always welcome drops. 19 gems even worse something still. Yeah, the tabs are like there's like just some stuff missing in the stash tabs, like the fragments basically capturing everything. But yeah, exactly. It also captures the splinters, so that's a little bit annoying there. But it's not that bad. Like the worst thing I feel like is the tablets. It's just too many. I get like depressed if I have to go through tablets. Like every map I pick up like 10 tablets or something like that. It's like so convoluted. We need like a tablet, so there should be probably like a tablet tab. Actually, I mean, I don't want a tablet tab. I just want tablets to be removed from the goddamn game. But you know, they're gonna have like their endgame pass on that, right? So we're gonna see what they're gonna do with the tablets. But I don't think the tablets are gonna stay like this, because it's just too annoying. There's just like too many tablets. That system basically needs like a complete rework. Like just stacking tablets, IDing them, you know, cubing, like reforging them. Like that process is just so... I don't want to deal with it anymore. That's why I really hope they change it to like the better and just basically remove it. God, frozen. I keep getting frozen there. Never happened before. Yeah, but you know, just clicking them all in the merchant tab for just 1x is also like, you know, I just don't want to deal with it, right? If I could fill the entire tab with like right click or something like that. But oh, this is actually tier 1 life, tier 2 cold dress, tier 2 rarity. Might be worth like a little dime. Verse X. You know, maybe. Why not? Roll. This no. Chaotic quantity. Yeah, move speed shrine is just hilarious. That's why I also like I spec into like 50% more shrine duration, because you know I just you know, if that happens, it's just, you know, works like, you know, a charm. Okay, so where I'm going top right. Because well, this one I'm gonna save, but I can go from here with like the whatever cliffside. Don't even know what that is, but let's just grab some random maps. But yeah, I want to kind of close this season. So I still want to try some farming strategies. So I want to try Molacrum Splinters. I want to try Breach. So basically just get like a 3-tower setup, like all Breach, all Simulacrum, all Expedition, all Delirium, like these. I want to still like give these a test. But, you know, besides that, I'm pretty much going to close it very soon. Yeah, it's annoying that they're not in Ritual tab, and there's no Abyss tab, obviously. So I think they should be smarter, and like if they create a league, they should also create like the corresponding stash tab. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Abyss will stay, right? So, I mean, they're probably gonna adjust it a little bit, because I feel like right now it's a little bit too deterministic. The Expedition tab. Because Expedition nobody cares about. Really? I mean, you can just create a regular tab with affinity to Expedition, right? So there's just no dedicated Expedition tab, but you can just throw it like in a random tab. Yeah, in the currency tab, I just have like the bones and the shit, right? I have that in there as well. But you know, the crafting is pretty simple actually, right? If you want to know, if you just know what to look for, like the crafting mechanics itself are not very difficult. And you know, if you want to do profit crafting, I think the best way is really just, you know, if you're at a PC, like for example, if you're like at work or whatever, just put a snipe for the bases, which, you know, because a lot of people don't understand like crafting bases. Like there's for example certain amulets where you can, you know, force plus you know, +3 on, and you can get them for very cheap if you snipe them, because it's not really, you know, you don't really see that these bases are good. But if you, you know, just put like a, you know, a snipe for a certain combination of mods, which then on an amulet just guarantee that you can put on like a +3 and stuff like that. So you can make like a huge profit with these. I think item crafting from scratch, yes, you will make a decent profit. But I think it's more about sniping promiseful bases. Why do I feel like they changed something in this goddamn game. I was never getting frozen, and now I'm getting... Like, I kind of feel like my charms are just always empty. I don't know. Let me check if these ever refill. Maybe it's bugged with Ingenuity that the charm charges don't fill. That could actually explain it, because it has been happening since I switched to Ingenuity. Maybe I have to re-equip my charms or something like that. Yeah, they don't fill up. No, it currently has 40 charges, right? But it's at 0.0. So I think they're just buggy. Maybe the 2 charm slot of Ingenuity don't work. That's weird, right? It shouldn't say, it should say that they have a charge. Currently has 40 charges. So yeah, that's the reason my charm doesn't work. Is that like buggy Ingenuity? That makes sense now. And I'm actually gonna remove it because this is freaking annoying and it killed me already like 2 times. So I think Ingenuity then is bugged and the charms don't work. Yeah, that explains it actually. Yeah, it's not worth the that's not worth the extra magic point because I'm also using the losing the golden charm through that. Okay. Do I have to do it every time though? Or just once? Oh, like this freezing stuff. That's really dangerous. Oh, come on. Stop the crashes. Okay, so Ingenuity disables charms, period. It's just buggy. Yeah, okay, then I'm gonna get rid of it. It's just not worth running without freeze charm and stuff like that. Just, you know, it already killed me like multiple times. And I'm now in the middle of a breach without ramp up. That's like wonderful. Yeah, especially if because I don't get freeze threshold or anything in the tree, right? I think it's just a waste. Come on! It's so annoying. I have a good amount of regeneration, but I also use my life flask to supplement. I'm not gonna search for this last ritual, I'm just gonna dash in on this third one. Wow! Come on! That's our... Okay, that's a clip anyway. Oh shit, the map is not done? No! I thought it would be done. Oh god. I skipped like a random mob. Single random mob. Bro, I have no space. Okay, so let's pitch the ingenuity. Maybe somebody buys it though.
What's new? I'll do what I can to sell it for you.
Okay, where's my old belt? See, 1 of 1. Instantly work. Your spark broke? That's unfortunate. Shit, and I'm so sloppy. But yeah, lots of bug in this. Lots of bugs in this patch. I feel like I think even more than last patch, and lots of crashes. I feel like these ghosts are like so stupid, like they never hit any rare. Like rares just die so fast that these ghosts can never even get to one. I completely ignore those. I don't know, I never had the problem that I couldn't use Spark actually. At least something. Five actually. Could get it. Yeah, I still use mobility and ricochet and what's the other one? What's the third one? The other green. Projectile acceleration. I still use those. Unleash is really, yeah, just for bossing. Oh, look at that.
A gift from fate. Shit, and I put... Did I ditch the map again? I
completely screwing up like all my maps here. Okay. So I want to go to the tower. Go. Oh, this is overrun by the abyss. How did that map get into that area? It was not supposed to be there. Let's just get a random one. So what was the problem?
Vile flower. A good fight. None can oppose.
But yeah, a good thing actually with this copy ring. I might just buy this copy ring. Because really my rings are like not supposed to be special. Like I kind of need the same ring in each slot anyway. So I might just get that for like, what was it? 15 diffs? 10 diffs? I mean, I don't even have them, but maybe that would be a good pick. I think I have 10 diffs. I could actually pick up one like these. Since my ingenuity is gone now, I need more magic find. I need more item rarity. How's the map boss always behind me when I run? Yeah, Chaos Res would actually be... I mean, I kind of don't think I need it, but you know, it's... Unfortunately, there's no DAS recap, which is telling you what killed you, right? But I feel like I don't need Chaos Res. I have 0. But, you know, it would be nice to have a ring with Chaos Res, I guess. Then you could just get it double. And yeah, the Chaos Res on the ring also helped. I think that's true. I mean, it's just like 20%, but... You sure the Blood Bombs thing is Chaos? I would probably assume that's physical. But hard to know.
Hail.
Wait, how much juice do I have? I have like 7 diffs. I can actually buy that. I can...
What's new?
Let's exchange something. I have an Omen of Light. What? Oh wait, Chaos is... Wait, where's my... I know I have one. Pretty sure it's bugged. Always. I know I found one in the beginning of the stream. Yeah, there it is. That's also something they should really work on, like this currency exchange. Like not grabbing the items is really, really annoying, if you ask me.
new. I'll fill that in as soon as I can.
Greater Chaos. Let's just get this. I'm just gonna buy this ring real quick.
I'll post it right away.
What am I missing here? 195 breach splinters. Why not? I had something perfect jewelers.
All right, your order is registered.
Hope that's enough.
Come check out what came in for you.
Hope that's enough. Oh, it didn't fill. Whatever.
Yes?
Hope that's enough. Hope that's enough. 7 diffs. That's enough, right? 14. It called Calandra's Touch. Yeah, it's no, there were more. There were like always like 2 to 3 diffs. I think. Yeah, chances have also been like above 20x for like a long time. But it's also just the inflation in exalts, I guess. 13. It doesn't matter which one I buy, right? They're completely identical.
It's yours.
So let's see what changes actually. I have... Let's see, Sparkerino. We have 0.34 seconds and 135. I'm gonna remove this baby here. $140 and 0.33. Eh? 94. Oh yeah, right. It goes higher. Other way around. Makes sense. Oh, it's a 5% upgrade in rarity. I mean, I guess, you know, it's decent. But I can sell this ring now. This should be, like, relatively expensive. See. Doesn't even exist on the market. Yeah, who cares about the increased lightning damage? Let's take that off. Still doesn't exist. Wow. Okay, there's one ring for 250 divines, which is similar. But that has 50 rarity. That is actually sick. Yeah, I don't know what this was. Like, it's super hard to price check these, but I'm always gonna start these like with like 30 diffs or something like that. It's not. I don't think it's worth 30 diffs, but you know, maybe it is. Maybe I actually do 35.
Hopefully people don't mind the price increase.
Like random 6 mods. Well, that ring is actually insane. Wow, the 250 diff one, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know, I do it like you know, once in the morning, like maybe once over the day, like whenever I think about, you know, to change it, but I don't really do it on a regular base. This is like the most annoying tower. Remember, this is like the first tower they added in the game. And everybody was like, this tower is so freaking horrible. And then they created like 10 new towers. Half of them are as annoyable, and they just kept the one which nobody wanted to have. So what did you craft with that? Attributes? Oh god, this tower is so annoying. Oh, the amulet, yeah. I think amulet, if you have like spell damage and cast speed, like you always get like +3 spell skills or something like that. I don't remember how it exactly works, but I think you need to have cast damage and spell damage, cast speed and spell speed, cast speed and spell damage, and then you basically are 100% guaranteed to get +3 spell skills. I think it's in the prefix. I never tried the one with like the quality consumption. I just saw like, I don't even know what it was, like any streamer who tried it and didn't work. But I never tried it. I don't know what the odds are on this. Yeah, but the chance is unknown, right? It's just like, you know. Exactly. So it might be 10%, might be 30%, might be 50%. They're completely unknown. Where's the guys who test stuff like that? Somebody should test it. Yeah, it's kind of surprising, right? I don't really see a lot of testing in PoE 2. I didn't even see the health bar of this guy. What act is this? This is maps. This is endgame. Okay, what do we have? Cold damage, fire. Let's do like a. Okay, there's a physical one, unfortunately. There's a lot of big flags here, right? On the left side. Let's get like all these big flags and the. Or do I want to get the remnants with the big flags or yeah? Let's get the remnants with the big flags. Can I get one more down there? Yeah. That is beautiful. I'm not gonna get the one on top though. Anyway. I should actually do this from here. Holy shit. They were coming from all sides. That was unexpected. Remnants is like these like little whatever, like tombstones in the expedition. Yeah, I think he did. There also like somebody did max AoE, which also was like relatively funny. I have to. Oh God, it's just slapping me to the face. Like, oh, I can go from here actually. But it's a 3-tower setup. But it's probably just, you know, these couple of little maps here. But I don't want to walk. I'm gonna put like the. I'm putting the tablet. I really don't want to walk there. Do I have one of these? What's this thing called? The Grand Project. Let's see if we have one randomly. There you go. Okay, so then we do. We have 4%, 5%, 6%. Let's go. So, the Grand Project is basically the only applicable way of playing, you know, towers. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like how many stat steps? Oh, you can have infinite stat steps, but yeah. But I feel like I don't see like a fix to tablets. Just remove them. Just make them scarabs. You know what? Like, just take what was good in PoE 1. Like, I don't even see like a reason to not. You know, maybe you just rename the tablets. You can, you know, I mean, you can keep the name tablets, but you know, you can still just throw them in the map device and maybe just give them, you know, 5 charges or something like that, right? It's basically the same thing, right? But just remove the stupid tower. I mean, I think you can keep the towers, right? And the towers, you will just put the unique tablets, for example. And you keep the unique tablets. They can go in a tower. They can do stuff. You know, maybe you do single towers. You can do like some other effect, whatever. Like you can keep that tower setup. Just don't make it so mandatory. And then the regular tablet, just, you know, make them like scarabs. Make them just, you know, just make them stackable, just like scarabs. And problem solved. I don't think like keeping like, you know, if you keep like singular towers and you keep the unique tablets, I think that's fine. I wouldn't complain about that. You know, that's what I'm saying. Just reduce the towers, right? Just don't make the towers overlap. Just make them, you know, 1/4 or whatever. Just don't have them overlap, and everything is fine. Oh, oh. Hello. 2-socket wand. That might be expensive. I didn't check the prices on those, but it might be expensive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the type of wand doesn't matter at all, I think, right? I mean, does it actually? It's like the fire wand still more likely to get fire mods? I think it doesn't matter because it's completely deterministic craft anyway with the spell damage, right? You just chaos roll it until it's spell damage, and then you just go from there anyway. So I don't think it matters at all that it's like a... Obviously, it's not a dueling wand, but I think it doesn't matter that it's like a fire base for crafting. Because nobody wants lightning damage or fire damage on the stuff anyway. Everybody wants just spell damage. Hey, my man, how are you doing today? Right, what is this? But I think you always, I don't even, I think on a wand, you can also, isn't there another way to get the +5 as well? Can you also get the +5 with like the omen of hormonizing or whatever that thing is called? Isn't it the caster tech? Oh no, well, it's actually random, right? So I guess you will get one random +5 if you do it. Yeah, it can be +4 and +5, right? But you know, I'm just thinking, you know, how expensive is it to Chaos Slam a +5 on a wand? It's true, actually. Not a clickbait. I have the screenshot in there. Yeah, if the bases have still weights, then it's probably worthless. Yeah, started.
What's new? Seems like a good deal.
But I had another, I think I had 2 more exceptional ones, which I didn't check yet. This one here. I think there was another one. Okay, this is just quality. Okay, so just this. How about this? Leather hood. Ah, so I'm not really lucky with those. I found a couple for like 4 diffs or something like that, yeah. Okay, so we have double tower. So we actually have like some 4 tower overlap here in the middle. From this one and from this one here. But this one only, well, maybe barely. But it's all gonna be 3 towers in the middle though, that's pretty good. I wonder if I'm not gonna slam the expensive one on there. I'm also running out of good tablets anyway, so... Should actually check if I have other ones, because these are really too low. I have no tablets here. I have like them in here for whatever reason. A 7% boss tablet, 5% breach, 7% breach. But no precursor. More breach. It's all breach. I need precursor.
Go on.
Have an order?
You know what's funny? That you just don't pick up augments and transmusions anymore, and now you have to buy them. They actually, well, they're not really expensive, but you have to rebuy them. And I don't even know who puts these up. Like, I don't know where these come from. Oh, damn. Actually, I just need the... Well, actually, let's just augment all of them, whatever. Need more.
I'll post it right away.
See, this process is just so freaking annoying. That's like the biggest issue with the tablets, right? So I guess even without this, if the tablets would be just like scarabs, you know, it would be fine. But, you know, all these, you know, crafting those tablets... This is not even a full tab, right? And I have like more of these tablet tabs. It's just... The process is just... Oh my god. Okay, let's see if we got anything new. Nope. There's one. Nice. 7%. That's what I was looking for. Some more here. Sweet. That was actually not bad. So we have ritual pretty much on everything already. So we do boss, breach, and... Boss, breach, and precursor. Now we're gonna go to this tower here. So, you know, it's actually not that bad if you use the, you know, the what's it called, the Grand Spectrum tablet. But without it, I just can't deal with it. But if you just warp between the maps, I feel like it should just, you know, just imagine they would just remove the, you know, this the passing between the maps and maybe just make, you know, the range what you can run a little bit smaller. That would already make it much better to play, right? But, you know, having like to pass through the maps map by map, that is just the most freaking annoying thing. And which tablets you were trying to tell me about? You mean the one which makes you run the irradiated maps twice? Radiated with bridge and rare monsters? Oh, by the way, I'm missing a red support gem. I should have 9.3k life. I messed something up. I could get 10k, but I need like another 50 divines for that. So at this point, I'm really mostly just waiting for like gear to sell. Yeah, but you will only run the same map 4 times if it's like a unique map where you can try to get like the, you know, the flow support gem. The regular maps you will only run twice because you won't have enough towers to, you know, irradiate them so many times normally. So I guess, like, if you want to run maps, you know, if you don't want to do juicing, it's like a different strategy than trying to rerun the same unique maps. But for the unique map, it's pretty strong, actually. If you have, like, the Eye of the Storms thing, where you can get, like, the expensive support gem, running those, like, 4 times is really, you know, pretty strong, obviously. God, how do I get there? Do I really have to get all the way around? Oh, come on. Wait, that's the checkpoint. You mean the breach strategy? But I don't understand this, Wait. 14% increased rare monster. Is that a tablet? Yeah, it's definitely worth buying the 150 Exalt maps. I mean, 8 diffs is crazy good, but it's definitely worth it. What is that map? Is that like a unique map? Because that map cannot be on a... Or 14% increased rare monsters on your map. Is that like a blue map? Can it go up to 14%? That's actually sick. If it can go up to 14%. Because yeah, if you have a lot of rare monsters in the breaches, that's actually worth trying. That's something I could try. I mean, not now, but in general. Defeat the boss. Defeat the boss. I could do it actually, but I just cleared this setup, so I would need new tower setup for this. And I don't think I still have one somewhere. But it's something I would want to test for a guide anyway. I wouldn't want to run it on stream. I would more like, you know, want to test it and then record it and stuff like that. The 150 Exalt maps, I just basically buy them where they have the, you know, the only thing I basically care is like the mod, you know, have a breach and additional pits. And then I just try to get them with a lot of rare monsters, but usually, you know, The supply is pretty low of these maps, but I try to, you know, buy them when they come up in the market once in a while. I basically have like a search for that, so I can actually buy some right now. So I buy, let me see. So preferably I buy this one here. So I buy these ones with, you know, this one has like 70% rare monsters and, you know, the mod. And then, you know, usually I look at these maps. So this one is, for example, a good one, right? It has rare monsters, still be. So I buy these maps out of the market. But again, there's usually not so much supply in like the 150 exalt range.
All the best. I'm just simply too powerful.
In any case,
Hail.
Oh, I have 1 diff to my name. Nice.
Let's see if there are any takers. Hail.
And usually I just look at the market once in a while if there's like any good maps. Like this one, for example, is already, you know, 30% delirious, so it cannot be made any better anymore. So I would probably not get this one. This one is okay-ish. It has 70%, right? But it's, you know, it's corrupted already. So I'm kind of looking through these maps a little bit. This one is definitely one I could run anyway. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. So that's you can basically, so what I do is basically I juice an area to like a lot of quant, right? Then I take these maps. But yeah, I mean, they're expensive, right? You need to do like a little investment in these. But yeah, then I take these maps and, you know, I just, you know, put them somewhere where like my money is. And then I take an area, like I just choose one here, right? This area I choose because I have 2 towers. This one will reach, actually, like this just, and this one will reach here, some here. So I'm gonna get like some maps with 50% quant. And if you run these on 50% quant maps, they are actually quite juicy. So as you can see, like these have 25% quant now, and you know, it's actually not the best area because there's no triple in here. But some of these will go over 50. And that's always like that because it's hard to find like tower layouts which support that, right? But yeah, so that's basically what I do. And you can self-craft the maps. You basically just have to make like a huge map crafting session. Because that mod is always like a prefix, I think. Right, so this is a prefix. So you can use the, you know, the omen, which, you know, guarantees a prefix. So it's like this one, Sinistra Necromancy, right? And then you use that together with the, what is it, like Vertabone or whatever it's called. Right, so you basically prefix all your maps if you want to do this, right? I don't know the price on this, actually. I think it's not very expensive. If you look at this, Sinistra Necromancy, this is, you know, this is... actually, it's expensive, okay? I thought it wouldn't be... So you would probably go for random then. Because they removed the orb where you can only add suffixes with alchemies, right? Because with that it would be super cheap. So there's only like the suffix Dextral Exalt, which is but also like 4, right? So you would need technically like 2 of these to guarantee a prefix. So I guess guaranteeing a prefix is too expensive, so you would probably just go for random. Did I already do the map? Yeah. So yeah, you would basically... So basically you would just have to like, you know... I would basically 5-mod the maps, and then you can either say, you know, you take... So you can 5-mod all your maps, right? And then you can keep all the ones which have an open prefix, and then you could slam them, or you could just, you know, go for you know, random. Honestly, not sure what the best way. Well, I don't play rarity, I play rare mobs, right? So I don't play chaotic rarity at all. I try to get maps with rare monsters. I think it's stronger. But I'm not sure, actually. But chaotic monsters just gives pack size, right? So, I mean, I don't know if they changed pack size, but before pack size wouldn't give you more rare mobs. But maybe they changed that. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But I would probably not even do that. I would probably just randomly roll my maps. I don't even know if I would even use like an omen. But I didn't do too much research on that, right? Because ideally I would want to have a map with, you know, with like an open prefix. But I'm not sure if you can like guarantee a map with an open prefix. I mean, you can obviously, but it costs you like, you know, 10 exalts per map. And I think that's just not efficient there. So you're probably just gonna be off best, like, you know, just Alk spam or, you know, Regal Exalt spam. Because also using the chaotic omens require a chaos orb, right? So you also have like a relatively high investment in creating the maps. So I don't know if that's going to be, in the end, efficient enough. It probably is, but you know, I don't really know. I haven't really made like so much too much research. No, so the thing is, if you have a map with an open prefix, then you can basically desecrate it, and then you have a chance to get the mod, you know, with the action, like with the Abyssal, right? The Abyssal is a prefix mod. The prefix mod in general on the maps are much better, right? Because the prefix Abyssal mods are positives, and the suffix Abyssal mobs are negatives. So my thinking is, you know, if I have like 500 maps anyway, you know, I might just, you know, slam them all to like 5 mods, and then, you know, technically if you put all your maps to 5 mods, half of them should have an open prefix, right? And then I could just ditch half of the maps, and, well, technically, so I could use half of the maps which have an open prefix, and then I could just slam them with desecration. And then after that, the other 50% maps, I could just put them to 6 mods, right? So they have open prefix and suffix, and then I could still slam them for a 50% chance of hitting the prefix. But, you know, that's kind of the idea I have there. Because if I use like the omen, which guarantees the desecration on a prefix, that's like 10 exalts. Seven dips? What? Oh, 2. Okay, I saw 1. Yeah, they're pretty expensive now. Right, next tower. 6 mod. I'm out of 6 mod maps. My amulet. Flat life, percent life, spell skills, crit bonus, cast speed, and the dead spell damage mod. You can also see it in the planner. No, the flask is the flask is used by the Bloodmage. So the Bloodmage, if you look at this Sanguine Tide buff here, the 50% damage buff I have in the top left, that's basically the flask. So what it does is, like the Bloodmage Ascendancy, basically whenever you like spend life, whenever you hit a mob on full life, it consumes 40% of your flask charges and gives you like a damage buff for 3 seconds. And that's why you see like this flask always like, you know, dipping. It's like kind of a Bloodmage thing there to basically check the life flask for damage. But you don't have to press it, it happens automatically. So, the flask... I basically just use, if I'm ramping up, I just spam the flask like 10 times. It usually goes relatively fast. But basically, most important with the ramp up is really that you just have a good amount of life regeneration node on the trees. They really help. So I really have like almost all life regeneration nodes on the tree you can get. They really help with the speed on the... Too many mines. Yeah, pits always contain rewards doesn't work, it's bugged. So it doesn't do anything. I know. I mean, maybe they fixed it by now. I haven't tested it in a while. Shit. Not enough cash. No, there's no tablet for overrunning. What's that? I mean, it's still a decent ring, though. Oh, let me see. What do we have here? Oh, nice. More towers. Nice. This is like also, this is like partially 4-tower layout. Ah, will I use a grand project on this one? One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, I should use a grand project on this one as well. Let's see if we have one more. Project. It's funny if you like keep searching through your dump tabs for like, you know, 100 like 50 Exalt tablet and you just, you know, casually finding it most of the time. Not today though. There's one, see, casually finding it. Okay, so then we do Breach and Ritual. I don't have Ritual. I only have like a 5% Ritual, but that's fine. Alright, so now we can instantly Okay, so let's see. So we have, here should be like a 50 or only 37. Didn't even get like a 3 overlap here. 25, 25. Shit. I thought I would get like one good at least. But there's no good one in between here. This tower basically just covers this. Why do these only have 37%? Because I used the second grand project. Yeah, so this is not going to get anything strongly juiced. So I'm going to swap to like this layout here. Because here I'm definitely going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. Second. Your first tier 18 map. They're not much harder though. They're a little bit harder, but it's the difference is not so significant. Just be careful with like, you know, if you meet like the Delirium guys and the bosses, so they get significantly more difficult. But it's not like such a huge difference. I would say maybe like 10 to 15% per, you know, per level in like overall difficulty. Yeah, the Delirium bosses can be rough. Okay. Yeah, so you basically have to strafe the Delirium bosses. So just don't run, like, frontal. It's all, like, just strafing. If you run, like, parallel to them, they will not hit you with their, like, you know, they will not hit you with their slam dunk. They will not hit you with, like, their triple, you know, projectile shot. So that's really, a lot of comes down to, you know, I'll show you after this. So you can run like this, right? Frontal. But basically, as soon as you see, like, the boss bar, you're not gonna run frontal like this. You're basically gonna run like this. And then the boss is here, and it shoots like this, right? And you're running like this, so he's not gonna hit you. That's, like, the best... you have to get used to it a little bit. But in general, I would do that also with the Abyss Pits. Because same thing can happen. Like, there can be 4 mobs spawning which are all like ranged and they just hit you in the face and you're dead. And if you're strafing those pits, it's just not gonna hit you. So that's one advice I can give there. Could pull this one. Oh yeah, that sometimes happen as well, but you should be able to dodge that.
Speak.
Okay, there was this tower. There's another layout coming up here. Nice, there's also like a 3-tower layout here. I have some pretty decent layouts here, actually. And, well, this one is very far out, though, so I would have to use, like, another tablet to get there. If I do that, if I use the tablet, I can insta-jump to this tower. I can go, like, up to here. I'm already here. It doesn't make sense to use a tablet here. So we're just gonna use regular ones. So we have a 7% breach. 5% here. But I don't have any more tablets. Do you think like boss tablets are actually expensive? I never tried what they charge for them. What it's called, Overseer tablet, right? Overseer tablet with Quan 7%. Pretty sure nobody runs these. Oh. 1 diff? What? Why? What the hell? Why are they so expensive? This is actually weird. I would have never thought that these are so expensive. They're more expensive than ritual tablets.
Sure thing.
That's so weird. Like, why would anybody run boss tablets? We should have the first 30% quant maps here. Now we have to go to this tower. From... Where do I go? I can kind of go through the Maya and the wetlands from behind, but I'm gonna lose like a lot of good maps here in the middle. There's no good access to this tower, fortunately. I guess I have to go through here. Use the good maps. I mean, this map actually I should probably go rather this way here and lose this maps. Probably the better way. Okay, random divine. Oh, what? What? I just got like 2 big off-screen drops. Okay, there's one divine. Where's the other one? What? I heard it. There's another one. Where is it? Or maybe the sound from the loot filter triggered twice. Okay, maybe the sound just triggered twice. That was weird. There is definitely nothing here on the ground. Visions of Paradise removes the boss still, +1 level for all monsters. What's Visions of Paradise? Is that like a unique map? Ah, okay. I never played that actually. I mean, there has got to be a reason why the boss tablets are so expensive, right? So probably people run those. Yeah, basically, so when I level, I just use XP tablets at the beginning. So I basically, the XP tablets cost nothing, right? And I would just use usually pack size and XP stuff. And I would just juice my maps like with, 100% XP, and then it goes actually crazy fast. Like from, level 80 to like level 92, it basically just like takes like 15 maps or something like that. But I never used the unique XP tablets actually. Never looked at it. Maybe it's even better. There's kind of so much stuff to look up, and I just cannot do it all at once, so I have to like, consume like knowledge in like manageable doses. White Breach Ring is 1-0. Is it really 1-0 though? Did you sort by exalts? Because most of the time this annul bullshit is just, fake. Because annul like in the shop translates to like, 20 exalts or something like that on the trade website. So basically by listing stuff as annul, you basically just do the same stuff like all the other assholes listing stuff on annul. Which is just basically trying to, frame other people. Yeah, I mean, if it's really that expensive. That's really crazy. I have a couple of white breach rings. Yeah, this thing is white breach rings are super rare, right? They basically never drop. Like, if you run Zesh, they never drop. They can only drop, basically, in breaches on the map. And it's, like, super, super rare. Like, you probably get, like, 100 rare and blue breach rings and 1 white one. I mean, you know, perfect transmute and annuls. I mean, that's like really expensive though. Wait, so I still need like find... But did I even find one ritual? I always wonder what's like more efficient, chaos spam or, you know, annul and, you know, augment. You think so? Like one try is like what, 25, what, no, actually it's like just 15 like chaos attempts or something like that, right? Chaos like a little more expensive now. This guy again. Yeah, I didn't do that. It was actually very surprising how long the value of exalts and chaos was like kind of similar, right? There was also like, you know, randomly times where, you know, exalts were even more expensive than chaos. But then it kind of, you know, stabilized again. But it took like way longer than last league. Last league, like, they lost value so freaking fast. So sad that I have to waste this map. This is like the best map and I have to waste it for like traveling. But yeah, you cannot just throw like a grand project into every tower, because first of all, you're gonna miss the quantity from the tablet. Second of all, you know what? It's gonna cost you like, I don't know what they are right now, 100 exalts or something like that. And, so, unfortunately, you still have to travel. I would like to throw like a grand project into every tower, but it's just not, efficient. No, they don't. I think that thing doesn't work. I mean, I tested it 2 times, so they get substantially more difficult, but I couldn't really notice any changes in drops. I was just basically monitoring, like, you know, the drop rates of the low currencies, and to me, it didn't look like that mod would be doing anything at all to, like, the quantity. Incubator cream, you just saw it, right? That was just this thing you just saw there. I think. Wait. Is it somewhere? Okay, no, I'm confused. But that's like one of these big bugs walking on the map. No, before that, the one which was in the very beginning. I think there was like an incubator queen. That's like basically just a huge bug. Like the one in the crypt, like in Act 2. It has like a boss drop, and I mean it doesn't have a boss drop table, but it has like elevated drop chances, but I don't know for what. Like because for these mobs you just have to look what the mod gives, right? So some of these mods give rarity, some give pack size, and some give rare monsters. So I'm not entirely sure what that particular one gives, but basically the most important about this mod is what it increases on your map. Like somebody made a list somewhere, but I don't have it. But that's basically the most important about the mod. So unless you have like one which is really beneficial, which is, I think at this point really just the, you know, the big Abyss mod, which is, you know, producing like the divine maps. I would really just, you know, look what does it give. For example, the, you know, monsters are in Union of Souls with the map boss, gives like, you know, 30% more rare monsters. So it's a very good mod. You just don't want to run it on maps which don't have a map boss, obviously. But it basically just gives like a high amount of rare monsters to the map. And there's mods which give rarity. And I'm not sure what the Incubator Queen one gives. Honestly, don't do it. Unless you really know what you're doing. These things get crazy. So be careful. I mean, you can do it, but, you know, it's rough. And, you know, my feeling was it doesn't add anything additional to the drops. And I played 2 of those so far. Maybe 3, but by one I didn't really look at it. But then it's just my feeling. I didn't really, you know, it's impossible to verify anyway, right? If it does or not. But I felt like it does nothing. Okay, do I still have any 6 mod maps in my thing here? Any 6 mods? I would probably use these ones. You know, Abyss and Area spawn 60% increased monsters. That's probably the better map to play on those. The all tier 16s. I can play whatever. The overrun by Abyss usually overrides the cleansed, but I don't know if it's also the case if it's naturally overrun, or if it's just happening if you overrun it with the map itself. We have a map boss, whatever. Yeah, so I'm not sure. But it, for example, it also overrides Delirium. So I'm not sure if it's actually happening on the natural ones as well. Or just on the ones you slam with the map. I hate this map so much. This layout is just killing me. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother playing the rest on this map. Whatever. Wait, did I? Oh shit, I have to click the tablet. The beacon. Okay, so we have this tower. Now we kind of have to get to this one. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maps travel. Ah. Do I want to use another? Do I want to use another one? Or do I do the travel? I think I shouldn't because, I mean, this one is... I mean, these maps are just shit anyway. Oh, I'm gonna do the travel. See if we have any other quant tablets going on. No more quant tablets. So I have to buy another one. I still have it open though. 40 freaking exalts.
All the best. All right, your order.
Alright, I think I'm gonna do like this one more map. Then I'm gonna be done for the day. Finding these areas just really takes so long.
It's yours.
But yeah, I will have a good area there to run. And then I might, you know, the next area I will probably try with Breach. We have the first, like, you know, there's like a couple of 48% here. So these are definitely runnable, right? So 48% is not bad. So let's maybe, you know, let's do like one juiced map for the end. One of the, you know, of the 48% ones. So we could get this one here with some more rare... I mean, this is rare monsters. This rare monsters. So they're all pretty much the same. This one's probably the best one I have. Put some rarity on it. But yeah, I have this whole area, and as soon as I have this tower, I'm I mean, this is gonna reach up to like here, so these maps will not be reached by this tower. I mean, these here for sure not, so I'm just gonna run this hive here just to make sure. Or I could run this with the deadly map boss here. Maybe it drops something interesting. But let's do this one for the end. It's gonna be fun. Never played this map though. Not sure what it is. Yeah, so this breach is like basically the worst breach you can get. There's like no area, so... Heavy belts, always the heavy belts. Oh nice, I found some more breach. Oh, too low, too slow. So if you run blood magic, you can basically use Sigil of Power, but that's really the only thing there. Because if Sigil of Power costs mana and you cannot spend mana, it basically doesn't work. And if you use blood magic, it basically, you know, Sigil of Power just has an effect. That's pretty much the only upside there. No, it gives you 4 stages with blood magic. You know, honestly, I don't know if like the abyssal depths are good or not. It's really hard to say. So yeah, look, if you use Sigil of Power with Blood Magic, basically get stages. And if you, for example, put life tap in it, it doesn't work. So I was thinking, you know, you could mana, you could, you know, keep your mana and put life tap in it, so it has life cost, but that doesn't work. So basically, only Blood Magic makes the Sigil of Power work. Or obviously, you actually spending mana, but you know, in this build, you will likely not be spending mana. No, it's not going to be an overrun map. I think you will just get one. But I didn't test it, honestly. But I think probably the best thing you can run on an overrun map will probably be just the 70% more mobs. That's just my assumption there. Like, you can get, like, you know, more Abyss mobs mod. That might be the best. I highly doubt that you can have more than one Abyssal Depth. I mean, I haven't tested this, but I'm pretty sure you can just have one. But you might want to test it, but I think that would be pretty overpowered. I think people would have figured that out and made like 1,000,000 videos on it. So I don't think it works like that. But I never tested it. But I would assume it just gives you one. Okay, so see, that's like a choke point again with the breach. So that's super, super dangerous. Yeah. So you cannot go in there. Like, period. If you go in there, you're done. So I'm just gonna wait for the breach to end before I can go there. It's sad, but, you know, there's no way. It's super stupid. Like, there's no way I can kill them. Okay, let's do the Citadel boss with the breach. Oh god, is this boss? There goes my breach. Like, I just find the boss with like the instant breach removing area.
Your interruption changes nothing. My reign begins now.
Oh shit, that actually... Wow, this is actually dangerous. Because you have no ramp up. Because the boss instantly spawns after like this stun period or whatever.
Embrace your destiny. It is mine to claim.
That's my breach again though. Found me. Oh. That guy dropped a little bit of stuff there. But yeah, only junk. Alright, so I guess that's it for today. Yeah, I will try to... So my plan is I just want to try to, you know, do some other farming strategies and maybe, you know, make like a video or two on that. But I think that's pretty much what's left for me this league. Pretty happy that I made this swap to Bloodmage. Oh.
Can I help?
No, it's my second already. That's more than enough. I usually only do one. So I already did two because the Stormweaver was so disappointing. So yeah, anyway, I guess I gotta go. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care.